Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado. Welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, because I don't want to do it alone, and who doesn't want to make self-growth normal, then make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps with ranking and SEO and all this other stuff, and I really appreciate it because so much work goes into making these videos. Do you ever wonder why anxiety exists? This meteor shower of what ifs? It's like trepidation. It's like the sky is disproportionately falling on you. Anxiety disorders are the #1 health problem among women, mental health, and #2 among men to drug abuse. The US is the most anxious nation in the world. It costs us about $300 billion a year in productivity and medical bills. For the last 200 years, increase in anxiety and depression has been exponential. And it's hard to ponder why with how much opportunity and technology and resources we have out here today. And I wrote this review as I listened, but at this point, okay, I want to put out a warning for those who any mention of it may bother. I did not expect the steep Christian focus of this book. As far as what I've reviewed on this channel so far, on a scale of the 5 love languages, a book that had just little enough for me to forget to even mention that in the review, to 12 Rules for Life, which is something I probably shredded apart harder than any book ever, mainly because of the implications of its focus on Christianity. In other words, 1 to 10, to me, this book is a striking 10. Or 11. The author's ability to focus on the topic at hand is nothing at all close to as chaotic as the authors in 12 Rules for Life, though. I will give these guys that. So for me, because of that, this was more tolerable at least. Before someone thinks I hated this book specifically because I'm not all that religious, it's seriously not that, and I didn't really hate this book. I found it a little interesting. Honestly, it's just a big qualm I have about self-presentation. You see, anxious for nothing, finding calm in a chaotic world. What about this alone, or the cover, says Christianity? I mean, the item, the category definitely portrays something of the item, but the item does not necessarily portray the category. When I think of Christianity, I do think of things like finding calm in a chaotic world, but there are lots of other things that I found myself thinking about, like that qualm about self-presentation I was just talking about, and disproportionately so. Instead, and trying not to think about them either. If I find myself having to try and the title and cover don't directly indicate something like a religion with over, I don't know, 2 billion followers, to me, at least, the focus is a little too much. It could also mean that I'm missing something or don't understand it enough. And also, like, maybe that's not the author's intention. I do not mean to come off as bashful. Believing in something that has greatly to do with your own self-improvement, I have no idea what problem I would have with such a thing. But when I thought this book, because of the title, would probably be more about something like the mechanics or the mentality of proper, at least self-treatment of anxiety. And that's like disregarding the pills that people are taking. I take medication myself. Like, that one thing is so stigmatized by others that in general, it carries this polarity of positive and negative connotations, and its weight was just 1 ounce too great. Listening to this book was like experiencing a moral framework of thought being brought to my mind, and it was just too far out in one super particular spiritual direction for me to easily process. And isn't that ironic? Given the title. Like, if I were raised Christian and practiced the faith regularly, and I saw this review, I imagine myself initially thinking, dude, this kid really just like kinda needs Jesus. Initially. At least. But the author's intentions, I don't really think I disagree with. I mean, he has some solution, some location of calm he's trying to present to us. It's kind of within. Guilt, shame, fear, scarcity mindset. These things the author, in between Christian examples, brings very, very, like, super everyday problems of as examples. Now, if I have as many problems with a book like this one because of the self-presentation thing, that's when I look at the Amazon reviews, because there has to be something that I don't understand that maybe its proponents do. People who wrote negative reviews said stuff like, if you're not religious, tread carefully. It's a very good choice of scriptures, just not an inspiring analysis. A lot of the positive reviews seem to be from people who straight up support the message to the point where, you know, it doesn't really seem like the title matters that much to them, at least to the point where they would mention it in the review. But again, I really do kind of admire the reviews that say, I know people hated on this because A, but B, so C. I'm not sure how many of those I found. But that one part about gratitude though, I think it's called Great Gratitude, that part to me was particularly fire compared to the other ones. It is inspiring, it's uplifting, and it just speaks on many different fronts. Based on just the title, that part is probably the most I would really hope that this book relates Christianity to, like, self-treatment of anxiety. Okay, overall, some parts were enjoyable. I think the title was just a little bit too misleading. I know it was a reference to, like, part of one Bible verse, which makes sense, but maybe I didn't look enough into it. That's why I guess I feel a little bit ignorant about this, or just guilty. I don't want to sound like I'm raining all over a parade that has helped so many people, and they believe so strongly in it. I hope this review is a testament to the saying that, you know, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and more than anything, just its title. If you guys think the title is a tad misleading, like maybe it sounds Christian but not enough, let me know in the comments below, or not. I'm always curious about what the viewers have to say, even if it's something negative. Quotes. I found myself face to face with a version of me that I had never known. The widest river in the world is not the Mississippi, Amazon, or Nile. The widest river on Earth is a body of water called If Only. We can handle one challenge, but 2 or 3 at a time, one wave after another, gale forces followed by thunderstorms, it's enough to make you wonder, will I survive? We will not live one day less than we are supposed to live. Be careful what you think about, because your thoughts run your life. Direction 1. I originally thought I would recommend this book for anyone with anxiety, and specifically anyone who has anxiety about having anxiety. But I definitely recommend it 1,000 times more for anyone who is not just anxious but Christian and takes their faith seriously. If that's you, maybe this doesn't sound like that much coming from me, but I am confident that you will very much enjoy this book. Christians who don't have anxiety might actually get a lot out of it too. It seems like, aside from the title's specificity, to me at least, he did kind of hit the nail on the head of putting faith over fear and, like, focusing more on Jesus than negative self-beliefs. Direction 2. If you like this book, I recommend checking out... Honestly, I don't know what book I've checked out that's all that Christian other than 12 Rules for Life. I'd put that way more into Christian studies than, like, directly just self-improvement. If you've watched this review, however, and you are not invested into particularly Christian faith, but you are dealing with anxiety and it's, like, tearing you apart, if you are someone who just wants with what this book had, except just without, you know, the Christianity, I highly recommend checking out The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned as well if you want to check those out too. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it. But hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe, but if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere, and I will see you then.